The death of Montgomery in the expedition against Canada. Now came Benedict Arnold's daring march to Canada, which, although in the end was a failure, came astonishingly near success. Its real objective was the winning of the Canadians to the American cause. Washington gave his full approval. Suffering incredible hardships, Arnold marched his men north through the approaching winter of 1775. Another column under Montgomery joined him after taking Montreal. Their joint attack on Quebec was a failure. Montgomery was killed and Arnold retreated to Crown Point, contesting every foot of the way. Death of Wolfe on the Plains of Abraham. At last, the way was clear for the real objective of all this warfare, Quebec. Against it by sea came the greatest war fleet to cross the Atlantic up to 1917. Against it, by land, came 8,000 troops under General Wolfe. Montcalm, deserted by the government in Paris and harried by intrigue and corruption within the walls of Quebec, prepared to resist. Wolfe determined to make a decisive attack by land, and on September 13, 1759, he fought the brilliantly conceived Battle of the Plains of Abraham. Both he and Montcalm fell, but Quebec was in British hands at last. Unparalleled scenes of celebration took place in London and the colonies. The next year, Montreal fell, and France laid down her arms. In the New World forever, the dream was over.
Hello. Don't let the mask frighten you. I'll take it off. That's a beautiful name. Now listen to me, Misty. This is very important. My name is Steve, and I'm going to deliver you tonight.
Where?
To the cleansing water. Don't worry, you'll find peace.
Are you going to kill me?
What is going on?
Are you going to kill me?
Why would I do that?
I don't know. I heard rumors.
Rumors?
Yeah, that you drowned both your brothers in that bay you loved so much. I also heard you murdered both your parents. It's even rumored you killed that kid, Lloyd Hersman.
That weird kid who always used to talk about the Toxic Avenger?
They say you killed him because he was telling people you eat human flesh.
Who have you been talking to?
You know, they.
They say a lot, don't they? Do you believe what they say?
Well, Steve, I do know you are a very sick person.
What?
Well, you got these weird ideas. You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean. I don't know exactly what. But sometimes you just freak me out.
When?
I don't know, a couple times.
If I'm so fucked up, why are you with me?
Because I love you. I know you can't help it. The whole artist thing. You know, but I just want to help you.
No, you don't.
Is that why you love that bay by your home? Because you put your families in there?
Everyone I love ends up there. Even you, Tara. Even you. Someday, even me as well. How did I get here?
Where?
How did we get here? And why are you still alive?
Are you going to kill me?
Can't remember shit. I constantly keep blacking out. I keep walking into places I have no memory of going to, or how I got there, or why. Every girl I talk to turns into my dead girlfriend, and that one's really pissing me off. This woman, well, actually, she's more of a young lady, but she's death herself. She lives in a bay by my house, like a lady of the lake, and she refuses to give me back Tara, my dead girlfriend. Well, she stays immortal by taking life, but she wants me to do it for her, so maybe if I do it enough, she'll give me back Tara. But I don't want to do this. I want to work on my art. I want some shows coming up soon. I'm not ready to talk about stress. So she gets this guy that lives in my head that killed my family, which is great. At first, leaves me the time I need for my art, as well as making new body for Tara. But why I need all those parts? I mean, she's dead. Her body would be no good. But now death and the delivery guy living in my head, they keep arguing. That keeps playing into my Jack the Ripper complex.
That's a wonderful story, Sugar. But what can I get you to eat?
Make me like hell.
I would appreciate if you could please go over and click on the subscribe and hit the notifications so you can know next time we have something new coming on. And sorry for the interruption, but back to the show. The execution of Nathan Hale. Nathan Hale's farewell words, "I regret that I have but one life to lose for my country," are part of our tradition. He was a young man when the British occupied Manhattan. Washington was in continual need of knowledge about Howe's plans. Hale volunteered to secure this information, disguising himself as a Dutch schoolteacher, and entered the city. But the British captured him, and after a trial before Howe, he was hanged as a spy. Deloy's ape. Deloy's ape, given the proposed scientific name Meranthropoides loci and Ateles loci, is an alleged large primate reported by Swiss geological explorer Francis Deloys in South America. The only evidence for the animal, besides Deloy's testimony, is one photograph. It was promoted by George Mantedon as a previously unknown species, but is now usually considered a misidentification of a spider monkey species or outright called a hoax. Francis Deloys, a Swiss oil geologist, led an expedition from 1917 to 1920 to search for petroleum in an area along the border between Colombia and Venezuela, primarily near Lake Maracaibo. The expedition was unsuccessful and furthermore suffered greatly due to disease and skirmishes with the natives. Of the 20 members of Deloy's group, only 4 survived. According to Deloy's later reports in 1920, while camped near Tora River, 2 large creatures approached the group. Initially, Deloys thought they were bears, but then noted that they were monkey-like, holding onto shrubs and branches. The creatures, one male and one female, seemed angry, howling and gesturing, then defecating into their hands and flinging feces at the expedition. Fearing for their safety, the expedition shot and killed the female, and the male fled. Deloys and his companions recognized that they had encountered something unusual. The animals resembled a spider monkey, but was much larger, about 1.57 meters tall, compared to the largest spider monkeys, which are just over a meter tall. Deloys counted 32 teeth. Most New World monkeys have 36 teeth, and noted that the creature had no tail. They posed the creature by seating it on a crate and propping a stick under its chin. After taking a single photograph, Deloys reported, they skinned the creature, intending to keep its hide and skull. Both items were later abandoned by the troubled expedition. According to other reports, the photographs were taken, but were lost either in a flood or during the capsizing of the scientist's boat. After Deloys returned to Europe, he kept the story of the unidentified ape to himself until 1929. That year, his friend, the anthropologist George Mantedon, was pursuing Deloys' files, seeking information about South American native tribes. Mantedon discovered the photograph and thought it to be very important. Deloys finally related the account in the Illustrated London News of June 15, 1929, and the 3 scientists' articles regarding the creatures were published in French journals. Mantedon suggested a scientific name for the creature, Meranthropoides loci. After this publicity, Deloys' accounts was deemed unreliable by several critics, notably Sir Arthur Keith, a prominent anthropologist. Keith suggested that Deloys was trying to pass off a normal spider monkey. as something more exotic. The photograph did not clearly indicate the creature's size, and Keith also noted that by not photographing the creature's posterior, Deloise had left open the question of whether it had a tail at all. Keith suggested the animal in the photo was a spider monkey, perhaps a black spider monkey, which had been manipulated to appear different. Countering Mastodon, Keith suggested the scientific name Ateles loci. Most later writers have agreed that the creature in the photograph is a spider monkey. Others, such as the cryptozoologist researcher Ivan T. Sanderson, disagrees with Keith about the species, suggesting the white-bellied spider monkey to be more similar in appearance and shape. Sanderson further noted that the particular area in which Deloise allegedly encountered the ape had no history of reports of oversized primates. He regarded the identification as an unknown ape as an outright hoax, and an obnoxious one at that, being a deliberate deception. Other researchers, such as cryptozoologist Loren Coleman and Michael Rayner, also supported the theory that the creature is a hoax based on the photograph of a spider monkey and argued that Mastodon was the perpetrator. Mastodon used the Emeranthropoidus loci to support his view that the human race had independently evolved from different primates found in the region. He had previously argued that the white race was evolved from earlier Homo sapiens, while Africans evolved from gorillas, and Asians from orangutans. He proposed the Emeranthropoidus loci was a missing link ancestor of the indigenous people of the Americas. Hopefully we all understand that entire theory is insane. So anything he said, I've always sensed and taken as a grain of salt. That was a rather ignorant concept, and I don't know what else he happened to believe. Since then, research has come to light, noted on Coleman's blog, suggesting that the stump of banana tree can be seen at the right side of the entire photograph. Bananas are not indigenous to South America, making their occurrence in the remote jungles highly implausible, thus making it probable that the photo was not shot at the location Deloise indicated. This argument, and other findings, which strongly indicated a hoax, largely the result of the Spanish language work by Venezuelan scientists Bernardo Urbani and Angel Villoria, were essentially unknown to cryptozoologists, researchers prior to the summer of 2007. In 2009, Urbani and Villoria translated and published their findings in English. Of those who believe Deloise' encounter as an unknown species, some suggest it was surviving Protopithecus brasiliensis, a large spider monkey of the Pleistocene era, or connected to the legend of the Mono Grande, recorded in the area in the late 20th century. Could it have been a large spider monkey, or had lost its tail? Maybe it had almost failed escape from some predator years before it ever encountered this party. Maybe when it was young and the tail had grown over. And again, comment as to Loren Coleman. His statements alone negate any scientific value to any of his cries of a hoax. Whatever happened to someone just being wrong? Suddenly, it seems to go right to a hoax, as an overreaction to their believing they were ever maybe fooled by it. I do not believe he discovered a new species. If he did, it was the last of them. But I do believe he had believed it, even if it took him years of thinking about it to get there. So to yell criminal as a hoax just for a mistake is why science is crawling instead of soaring as it should. First Continental Congress delegates leaving Carpenter's Hall. The rising tide of opposition to British rule finally brought about that which had never before been possible: sustained unity of action against the colonies. Hitherto, local jealousies and conflicting interests had kept them apart. Now the rights of all were menaced. Virginia sent out the call for delegates to attend a Continental Congress. Philadelphia was chosen as the meeting place. September 5th, 1774, representatives of all but Georgia began sessions in Carpenter's Hall. The ablest leaders in America attended.
Frontenac, the attack on Quebec in 1690. Count Frontenac, a vigorous soldier, was France's opening gun in the battle for North America. Louis XIV sent him back to Canada as governor in 1689. For trouble with the English, King William's War, was just beginning. He carried out a series of bloody raids in New York, New Hampshire, and Maine. An expedition sent against him at Quebec in 1690 was a disastrous failure. Nevertheless, the war dragged on for 7 years. Neither side gained appreciably in the first trials of the arms. It was the prelude to the struggle, which was to continue for 3/4 of a century.
Hello, and if you've enjoyed some of our work that you've seen here, please do me a favor and click there over on Patreon corner, and you can see you can become a patron, and for like $1 a month you can give me input on anything that you think would be good to continue on. So we do so much different things, and it's hard to see what people want to see next, so become a contributor as well as have an opinion on what we do next. Thank you.
How evacuating Boston. While the British remained besieging in Boston, in the spring of 1776, Washington determined to bring the matter to a head. In a surprise move, he took Dorchester Heights. After that, the city was at the mercy of the cannon captured at Ticonderoga. Lord Howe embarked his 11,000 soldiers together with the Loyalist inhabitants and sailed for Halifax. He left behind him a prodigious amount of supplies and military stores which Washington greatly needed.